Good afternoon, everyone. We are starting now. First of all, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners, custodians of the land on which we operate. We respect their elders past, present, and future, and are committed to recognizing their cultures and norms. We also embrace diversity and inclusivity in our workplace. Today is a day whereby we're doing the Social Justice Award 2024 program led by the Center for Migrant and Refugee Health in association with utilise and APAE organization. Thank you all for coming. I think it's a pleasure that we are seeing you today. To kick off the program, I would like to invite the CEO of the Center for Migrant and Refugee Health, Mr. Mabor, to come and give a welcoming speech. Mabor, you're welcome.
Thank you, David Wane. I must first apologize, for the delay. So you can see now we have a few members who have just come in. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodian of the land on which we operate. We respect their elders past, present, and future, and are committed to recognizing their cultures, norms. We also embrace diversity and inclusivity in our workplace. It is an absolute honor and privilege to stand before you today as we gather to celebrate the 24th Social Justice Award. Today is not just a regular day as we take. It is a day that to recognize and honor the tireless efforts of individuals, organizations that have dedicated themselves to the noble cause of social justice. In this year, the Center for Migrant and Refugee Health have recognized about 46 individuals, including community members and organizations. Those nominations were made by people of goodwill online to nominate the hardworking community members, leaders in several organizations, and those space leaders also in our community. Social justice is not a mere concept, but it's a movement, a relentless pursuit of equality, fairness, the fundamental right that individuals deserved. The Social Justice Award serves as a beacon of hope, illuminating the path pushed by those who have worked tirelessly to bring about positive change in our community. As we embarked on this journey today, we are here to acknowledge the champion of justice, the individuals, the organization that stood up against inequalities, discrimination, and injustices. These awardees are the embodiment of the courage, resilience, compassion, demonstrating the event in which the pace of diversity, positive change is possible. The category that we will celebrate today extend beyond the award themselves. Each category represents a facet of broader tapestry of social justice, from advocates who have worked hard, amplifying marginalized voices, to community leaders making tangible impact on the ground. We honor the youth leaders who inspire us with their fresh perspective and yielding dedication, and those who champion health justice, recognize intrinsic link between the health of our people. That, of course, if you talk about social justice, you mean human right to our people and the well-being of their environment. The more they are humble, the more they live happy, the better off is their environment. Today's event is not just a ceremony, it is a testament to the power of collective action. It is a reminder that every small act of kindness, every stand against injustice, and every effort to create positive change contribute to greater movement of social justice. Behind every award, there is history of challenging that you overcome, the obstacles that you face, the victories that you achieve. Today we celebrate those history. We celebrate the resilience of the human spirit, the will to make the world a better place. In the word of Martin Luther King, injustice anywhere is a threat to injustice everywhere. The Social Justice Award exemplifies our collective commitment to confront injustice wherever it might be found and to build a world where the equality and justice prevail. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to all nominees, the winners. Your work has not gone unnoticed. Your impact will continue to inspire others to join the noble cause of social justice. Thank you for the sponsors, in particular the National Australia Day Council, and our supporters, CMY, APPEAR, charitable organization, Law Global Live, and other organizations and organizers that are really involved in this occasion today. With all those who have come to contribute to making this event possible, let us carry the spirit of together forward, united in our pursuit of more just, equitable, and compassionate world. Thank you, and let the celebration begin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mabor. That was a good speech. This is how the program is going to run. For those who don't know this place, when you go out from this door, on your left-hand side, the toilets are there both for men and for ladies. So if you feel like going to the toilet, please, and feel free. And then if there's any fire, there's one on the right and there's one on the left. And of course, if there's any emergency, there are a lot of doors. There's that way, and there's another door here. So feel free if there's any emergency. The way we're going to run the program today is, I've been advised that we're going to make the speeches first, and then after that, the presentation will take place. The next person to come and give a speech is Dr. Titus, CEO of Research Action Center. Dr. Titus, you're welcome.
Thank you, everyone. It's my joy to be here this afternoon, and I want to begin by congratulating the founder and CEO of Center for Migrant and Refugee Health, Mr. Mabor Chandler. The Chadhar? Yeah, thank you. Pardon me if I don't pronounce it correctly. The chair of the board of CMRH, the Social Justice Award winners, ladies and gentlemen, all the invited guests, I would like to stand on the existing protocols. I'd like to begin this short presentation by congratulating the board and the CEO of the Center for Migrant and Refugee Health on this second occasion of the Social Justice Awards. Indeed, it is always good to recognize change makers because recognition has a way of fueling optimism. It has a way of helping people to act differently. And so on behalf of myself and my team at ARC, Action Research Center, I want to congratulate you all. I have no doubt to say that you are a worthy partner, and I do believe that the best is yet to come. I will reflect briefly on the challenges of migrant, refugees, and asylum seekers communities in Australia, and how to improve the living experience of migrant people. First of all, some statistics will help us to really reflect briefly about how important the topic we're talking about is and what each one of us can do differently in order to change the narrative. Of course, it is common knowledge now that Australia is a leading migrant nation founded on immigration. In 2021, we know that about 84 million people constitute a cross-section of forcibly displaced people around the world. And this is about 1% of the world population, including 26.6 million refugees and 4.4 million asylum seekers, according to the report from the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. When we look at these numbers, these are not just statistics, these are human beings. These are people who had dreams, who had visions, who had goals. These are human beings like us. And here in Australia, we know that as at 2020, about 7.6 million people living in Australia, which constitute about 29.8% of the entire population, were born overseas, compared to 26.7%, which was the data we had from the 2010 census. And this has also increased as at year 2000 to 23%, according to the data released by the Australian Bureau of Statistics. The implication of all this data is that the numbers of migrants in Australia is going to be increasing by the day. And this brings us to the reflection about what are the key challenges that migrant communities, refugees, and asylum seekers are facing in this country, and what can be done differently. What do we need to do to change the narrative? Now, I'm going to be reflecting briefly, hopefully in the next few minutes, drawing on my work as a researcher and drawing on the work of the Action Research Center that I lead to respond to this key question. What are the key challenges that migrant communities are facing in Australia? I outlined 4 major challenges. Number 1 is genuine integration into the community. Now, we're currently doing a work that looks into the integration of African migrants in Australia over the last 15 years. And the data will be closed in the next few weeks. And some of the initial findings show that many of our people here are still struggling. The struggle is not just about coming in, the struggle of seeing themselves as being part of the community in general. And this brings us to the question of how do we foster genuine integration, or indeed, what does genuine integration look like? So 2 years ago, we did a research looking at the experiences of refugees and asylum seekers in Australia between 1998 and 2018. And one of the respondents in that research told us something. The person said, once you are a refugee, you are always a refugee. And that really got me thinking, because I was the one that was interviewing the participants directly. And I said, could you please tell me more? And the person said that you come in, indeed, it appears you have some programs in place, but the programs in place are not fit for purpose, because the programs are not designed with thorough feedback and contributions from members of refugee communities. And I asked the person, I'm going to be reflecting on that very briefly. What is the way out? How do we change it? Now, if everyone in the community sees themselves as a true member of the community, it means that their behavior, their interactions, the way they relate to issues, the way they approach government officials, the way they contribute to community development will be different. Talking about genuine integration into the community has to do with looking at what sort of cultural sensitivity do we need to maintain in terms of bringing people into the community. Most of the times we have members of our migrant communities, whether as refugees or as asylum seekers, they try to teach them about Australian culture. Yes or no? But the reverse is the case, because most of the people that are often described as the host community knows nothing about the culture of the recent immigrant. So genuine integration implies that it has to be a two-way thing. It is not just we learning about the Australian community, it's about Australian community also open to understand our cultural perspectives, understand our worldviews, understand how we think, understand us as individuals. The number two is healthcare delivery, access to healthcare delivery. Now, we just finished a project that we, between 2022 and 2023, we were looking at the mental health perception of women from culturally and linguistically diverse communities. And we interviewed women from Africa, from Chinese background, from Latino background, and overall, one of the things we discovered is that most people from migrant communities are closed to the existing resources, to the existing system that are built to support mental health. Why? Because of trust. One of the participants told us, she said, my mother will never access that mental health system that is put in place. And when we asked why, the participant responded and said, indeed, there is no thorough understanding of what it means to be a migrant in this country from the perspectives of policymakers. So once trust is not in place, it is absolutely difficult to get people to cooperate to access the existing programs that are put in place. The next one is economic empowerment. Economic empowerment. Now, we're doing another project now that looks at the migration index developed in Europe as a way of measuring the economic contributions of members of African communities here in Victoria. And we're looking at things like across Australia, and we're looking at things like access to loans, access to political and systemic structures, being part of the system that makes decisions in terms of issues affecting members of African communities. And in administering a national survey, one of the respondents said that indeed all I've experienced in this place is racism and discrimination colored in a social fabric of empowerment. And I looked at what that meant, and the person commented further and said that, well, indeed, if you do want to make the system work for everyone, then there has to be a level playing ground for everyone, so that regardless of where you come from, you are able to thrive within the system. Now, I'm glad, and I'm sure we're all excited that there is a progress along the line of the recent High Court judgment nullifying compulsory detainment of asylum seekers in Australia. This is a step of progress, but it implies that it's just the beginning. More needs to be done in order to create a society that is just, a society that is fair, and a society that is equitable for everyone. The fourth aspect of the challenges that I enumerate is access to legal representation. Access to legal representation. People who are new in the country, who want to process their paper, need access in order for them to process their papers, submit all their documentation. Now, what can we do differently? Somebody said that the best way to make a change is by thinking differently as the first step. And then he moved on to say that if we think differently, then we must act differently. And then the person said further that if we act differently, that different action must be decisive and must be bold. My encouragement for us here today is to look at 4 major areas. So I've outlined 4 major challenges, but then I'll outline 4 major areas of prospects in terms of what needs to be done differently. Number 1 is the asset-based approaches. Asset-based approaches is about recognizing the gifts, recognizing the potential, recognizing the skills that everyone that comes into the country has. I'm sure most of us here who happen to be, among the privileged ones within our communities, we know that there are members of the African communities and other migrant communities who have 2 degrees, 3 degrees. Some people even have up to 5 degrees in reputable institutions. Asset-based approaches implies that you recognize that this person that is coming in is coming with something. The cliche of let us stop the boat, the cliche of, okay, everyone that comes in must go into a compulsory detention implies that that person is being treated as a liability rather than an asset. So that is the first thing. And on this, we did research 2 years ago, and we realized that the economic importance of migrant communities in Australia is way half the 2/3 of the entire GDP. Now, this is arguable. This is an arguable statement. You could say, you could dispute it. But when you look at most of the members of our communities, you have people who do 2 jobs. People who work 3 jobs, yes or no? And you know them. People who pick up jobs that other members of the communities find detestable. And when you accrue the economic importance of all the migrant communities, then it implies that there is something indeed that needs to be celebrated about what you contribute, about what I contribute, about what we all contribute, even our brothers and sisters who are not here today. Number 2, what can we do differently? I say this will be a fit-for-purpose settlement programs. A fit-for-purpose settlement programs. Now, a fit-for-purpose implies that we first of all recognize that the person that needs the services and the programs that we want to provide needs to be contributing to the development and the implementation of those programs. Gone are the days when others should be telling the stories of migrants in Australia. Gone are the days when the white guys, permit me to say, should tell the stories of Africans in Australia when Africans are there who are well qualified to contribute to that process. A fit-for-purpose program or set of programs has to be individualized. It needs to identify what each member of the community needs. For example, what African communities, maybe Ghanaian communities, maybe Nigerian communities, South Sudanese communities, Ethiopian community, and so on, what each community needs at the current stage of their integration, and then allow that to speak directly into the policy making process about these people, about all of us. Number 3, adequate community support. Before we started this afternoon, we were just chatting at the table here, and our sister was just reflecting, and we're talking about where are we going, how can we do things differently? And I believe that that conversation has already started. That conversation is well underway. A lot of people are already thinking, how do we act differently? How do we do things differently? There has to be proper community support. And one of the things that I picked from the chit chat we had on our table here is the need to eradicate the sense of competition, especially unhealthy competition. I am so privileged being here in this country for over 10 years. I've seen members of African communities on the road, just giving them a smile, they look at you like this. A fellow African. There has to be proper community support. We need to submit. We need to support each other. Whether this person actually belongs to your immediate community or not. We need this support. Now, one of the research we did 2 years ago about the respondent who was talking about if you are a refugee, you are always a refugee. I asked the respondent, what is the solution? The person said something that is so profound. The person said that if all members of African communities in Australia will rise up to support each other, if we will not look for the fall of one another, if we will collaborate and identify goals that will make us progress, that will help us to get to the helms of our fears, our living experience in this country will be better. And I think that is the way to go. Number 4 is what I call evidence-based advocacy and policy making. evidence-based advocacy and policy making. Advocacy can either be sentimental, which means that we hear everybody saying this, and then we join them to keep saying it. And then we just carve out a cliche. But an evidence-based advocacy implies that there is a credible data that forms opinion, that helps us to identify the real situation, the stark reality with which we are faced. And then that nobody can argue with evidence. Part of the evidence is that there is a need to incorporate more members of African communities into policy making. That was one of the things we came up, talking at our table here. It was already part of what I've jotted down to share with us this afternoon. The key question now is, as I am leaving this place today, what can I do differently? What can I do differently? How can I act differently? I want to encourage us, and if you permit me, challenge each one of us. If we look down on each other, we will never expect other people to look highly of us. If we don't celebrate what we've got, there is no gathering I get to that I don't know within me that I have something to contribute. If you look down on yourself, others will not look highly of yourself. And looking down on oneself is not the concept of arrogance or humility that I'm talking about, but looking at yourself as someone who has got something to contribute, someone who is part of the change. So moving forward, I want to challenge us this afternoon that we all need to think differently. We all need to act differently. We all need to, in acting differently, we all need to act decisively based on the available evidence, based on our common interest to contribute to the change that we want to see. Because if we don't do it, if we're not part of that process, no other community groups will do it for us. In my local proverbial saying, they will say that if there is a load that needs to be carried, it is the person that knows that this load belongs to him or her that first of all position him or herself to carry it. And when you're positioned to carry it, others will come and join you to carry it. Once again, I want to congratulate all the awardees today. I want to congratulate the chair and the founder and the CEO of Center for Migrant and Refugees Health. And I do hope that each one of us will be able to contribute meaningfully moving forward to the process of seeing a well justice-informed and equitable society where we will all thrive, fulfilling our potential and collectively making a change that we have all hoped for and prayed to see in our communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Titus. That was really a very good speech. And I hope we as here, we can take something back, because I think what he said is very, very important for our community, especially as Africans here in Victoria. As you can see our program, I'll be jumping some people because of time. And if I call you, can you please, you'll be having 3 minutes from now. The next person to give a speech is Mr. Poli Kiyaga, the manager of Junubi Wyndham. Poli, you're welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, I didn't have a speech, but I was going to speak about receiving my award. But yeah, thanks very much for inviting me here tonight, this afternoon. I think I'm going to reflect on the words which Michael has spoken about. I think this is a very good example to see that we've got an African-led community organization which we all must be supporting. It's a load which we've got to be part of as community members. I'd like to thank Mabor, the CEO and the founder for the Center for Migrant Refugee Health. I'd also like to thank the organizing committee for having nominated, I think, Junubi Wyndham, but also for having nominated me as the manager for the program. I'd like to say that this is not about me, but I think it's about the community we are working with. What we need to understand, I've been working in the community for the last 24 years, and at the moment the program I'm working in is supporting those young people who are facing difficult times within their homes, but also in the schools and also out in the community. The parents I'm working with are part of the group which came early 2000s with young children, whom I worked with, picked them from the airport, took them to their homes, and now I'm working with those young people who are having issues at school and having issues in the society. So what we are supposed to do as a community is be able to collaborate and work together to ensure that we support one another. There's no one person who can do the job alone. We've got to be able to get together and do all these things together as a community. So what is happening here today is that it's such a good example to see that we can all come together and be able to support one another. But also we show the government that Africans can do things. We can deliver programs, we can collaborate, and we can work together. So we shouldn't be stopping here. We have to make sure that we continue to go ahead and look at the areas where there are people who are vulnerable, whom we can continue supporting as community organizations. The other thing I want to talk about is the work Mabor is doing is great. I think we have to come together to make sure that he continues to do that work. We don't leave him alone. For the future, we've got to be together as a community to ensure that what is happening at the moment continues to happen, and we are looking after one another. And finally, I would like to thank the South Sudanese community in Wyndham, who have enabled us to be able to do the work we have done. They have been part of the consultations we have done. They've been part of all the community activities we have done, which has made our name to come to be known, that we are looking out for the people who are vulnerable and we are supporting them. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Polly. That's very nice of you, and we acknowledge what you have been doing. I think that's been great, especially the work that Junubi Wyndham has been doing with the community in the West. It's been acknowledged, and most of us can attest to that, and thank you very much for coming here today. The next person is Mr. Ambrose Nyal, the founder of South Foundation. Ambrose, you're welcome. Ambrose, you have 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, David Wani. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Mabor, thank you very much for this opportunity. And Dr. Tutus, thank you for your research. And all the ladies who are here, leaders, Deacon George, protocol observed. As I have only 3 minutes, I'm here not to give the speech, but I just came here to receive my award, as I've already put it right. That recognition, it means a lot. It's not for me, it's for us. This is what we call a unity with purpose. When people come together, they have a common goal. A common goal with clear visions, with clear missions. It will identify the stuff that can take us forward. With reflections of Dr. Todd's speech, The load, no one will carry it. You have to measure your load before someone comes to help you. Our issues, our problems lies within our hands. And thank you, Doctor. Thank you both. You will be a doctor soon, maybe. With this award, it means coming together. That's what we call unity with purpose, that, as I said earlier on. I want to acknowledge our mothers who are here. Mother Monica, Mother Collusion. The word Mother Collusion is coming together. Collusion is togetherness. If we have to develop and build on those togetherness with women, as long as also with men and also with young people, our community will thrive, not only survive. We are living as a survivor. We cannot be always stay here as refugees. We have to thrive moving forward. We are survivors. We live as survivors in this country for how many long? For how many years? 20 years, 10 to 20 years as survivors. When are we going to thrive? Is when we come together. Coming together is the only key, and Mabir has really demonstrated today. I acknowledge that. Unity with purpose can also come with adaptability. The world is changing. The world is moving very fast. But where are we? Ask ourselves. The change will begin within. As a persons, we have to look on the big picture, put the big picture onward, and then ask your brother, your sister, your family, your children, what can we do? So adaptability is what we need with the current world which is now moving forward. So we have to, little steps can take us forward. And this is exactly the award. It looks like a little step, but it means a lot. Finally, we need to stand together, support each other. Our politicians or our politics within the community will not take us anywhere. Our conversation here and our table talk about the moving forward. What can we do? So it relies within yourself and then your brother, your sister, to identify the common goal. This is what I can say, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambrose. I think today you've made a record. Thank you. The next person is Ms. Abiola Kinyi-Yibi. Sorry if I pronounced wrong. Abiola is one of our African ladies who is a board member for the Ethnic Communities Council of Victoria. I and my board, we witnessed when she was elected, and we're very proud of her representing the African community, especially in that big organization. Abiola, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much once again for having me, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. And I must say that election was won because of the support of everyone. Like the Mbutu spirit says, I am because we are. And standing on that day and seeing brothers and sisters present in that room give me the confidence that the future is bright, even though we might see a glimpse. So let me begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land that we all stand it today. The Urenji people of the Kulin Nation, I pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I also extend that same respect to all African leaders in this room today and all faith leaders in this room today, because I understand as a being, we're made from different elements, the physical, the spiritual, and the supernatural. And I also want to say that sovereignty was never ceded. It is, it was, and will always be the First Nation land. I want to thank Mabor for inviting me to be one of the speakers today. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing, the founder and CEO of CMRH. I want to thank Mama Monica, who is the Sudanese Women Coalition leader, Brother Hussein of AMC, always supporting us. You know, there's something about narrative about African media, and he's always there all the time. So thank you for African Multicultural Media Center for always changing, you know, proclaiming a narrative to the Australian at large. And I also want to thank all the sponsors for making today's possible. In today's world where we have more people focusing on the glitz and glams and success of social media, Facebook, everybody wants to be associated with glitz and glam. We, every one of you here today, and all the sponsors, all the people that has worked together, they have come together and collaborated to focus on migrants and refugee health and social justice. What a great focus to begin with. And I also want to thank Dr. Titles for that speech, and my brother that gave the speech earlier on. And you mentioned one thing that touched me. You said migrants and refugees are people who had dreams and goals. And that's true. And migration, relocation, should not change their dreams. Should not be an hindrance to the dreams that we all have together as one. Well, we might focus on the government help, overseas organizations, human rights organizations to fight for us. My grandfather always said something to me: charity begins at home. Let's all start by supporting each other first. Let's come together to support each other, like what my brother said, with a unity of purpose. I remember I was here once, some few time ago when I gave a speech here, that sometimes we find it very difficult to support each other based on our tribes, ethnicity, countries, where we come from, our faith, our religion, whatever it is that's hindering you from supporting your brothers. Remember one thing, that we are all in this together. When they see you outside, they'll ask us a question: where are you from? They will not ask you based on your level of darkness of your skin, because they can identify you where you come from. So that is why we have to support each other. And support each other. If you know you're finding it difficult to support your brothers, like I mentioned at that table, learn to separate the work that they do from that individual. If you cannot deal with the individual, look at their work. If their work is what you don't like and you like them, talk to them and say, look, how can I help you in all these things that you're doing? And let's make a commitment to advocate for equal access to wealth, health, opportunities, and social privileges. And I was saying to one of my brothers earlier on that I had the opportunity through Pathway to Politics for Women when I participated in that program, and I had the opportunity to give a speech at the Parliament last year, a stump speech. And standing in there, looking around the room, I saw a lot of people from different ethnic backgrounds, and I think there are about just 2 of us that are from African descent giving that stump speech. And it touches me because I said, coming to a country like this, everybody have different purpose. You have to understand that we came here for a reason. And I came, step into the community space, like I mentioned to some people on that table, when my daughter asked me, she was born here. We came here, migrated here, and I was thinking, everything is done, it's all good. And I was planting my 6-year-old daughter here that day, and she said, Mom, I would like to travel to the world. I would like to travel around the world. Where will I go to that people will not discriminate against me? I was like, no, this is Australia. You know, we're here, it's a multicultural country. And a 6-year-old said to me, that's what they all say. Why do people look at me differently? That, to me, changed my perspective about life. Because I thought, like you said, having different degrees, I could tell you I have 6 university degrees in Australia. And I thought I was doing well, progressing well in my career, but what did the future hold for the children that I'm born here? And that was when I started the organization called Changepreneur. And for me, supporting that particular organization and self-funding that organization by myself has taught me a lesson that a little help goes a long way. And that always resonates with me, because I was at the, I think it was the South Sudan basketball team last year. And I remember their captain says one thing, it always live with me. He said, we're all here based on the little help that some aunties, uncles are giving to us. Is it that they're picking us up from the training, or they're dropping us, or they're buying us trainers? He said, those things, it's not the skill, it's not the practice, but the support that they have to be able to practice goes a long way. So this event is an example of great acknowledgement of those who have not only worked hard, but to call out injustice. As my boss said earlier on, when Mr. Lukaki said, an injustice to one is an injustice everywhere. If you're very comfortable in your skin, that you're doing well in your career, that you're progressing well, you're having the accolades that you required, what does the future hold for your kids? How long is it that we have to wait to get justice, to have equal access, to have equal opportunity? You're holding a passport saying that you're an Australian. Do you have the full equal opportunity and equal access like everyone? So as I concluded today, I want to say thank you to all the awardees that are going to be awarded today. Thank you for all the work that you do. From the bottom of my heart, I think you're making a difference. And like I said, we cannot always get tired. I said to people, Martin Luther King starts somewhere. Mandela starts somewhere. We are a benefit and a testament of what they all fight for. Today you're entering a train, nobody is stopping you and saying, show me your passport. They have started somewhere and they finish somewhere. Let's continue from when they start. Do not let anybody force you to go back to what they've already fought for. Every battle, every stages of injustice is a mantle that is passed along to the future generation. So while we are fighting for our present, fight for the future of our kids. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Abiola. Now we're going to call our guest speaker, Dr. Michael Akindeju. After his speech, he's going to give out the awards. Welcome, Dr. Michael.
Thank you so much. Before I start, I would like to thank everyone that has spoken and reiterate the things that they have said to us. It's a beautiful day here in Deer Park, Australia, gathering today for this Social Justice Award. It's a statement to all our efforts and the things that we have been doing and that the center is doing. I will start, however, by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we stand and we are meeting today, as I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. I also like to pay my respects to all community leaders. I acknowledge our ancestry. Without them, we would not be here today. We are standing on shoulders of giants who have gone before us. As well, I'd like to thank all community leaders who are present. I want to acknowledge your work. Without what you've done in the past and what you continue to do, our community and our children will probably be doomed for it. Thank you so much. Most of you here are public servants, so I want to thank you for actually attending, for actually playing your role very vitally in the government space, in the public space. And I want to thank the board and management of the Center for Migrant and Refugee Health for thinking it wise to actually have something like this to showcase the efforts of many people within the community. I'd like to thank their sponsors, other speakers, Dr. Titus, Abiola, Ambrose, and all other speakers who have come up here today to share a few things, and importantly, the awardees. When Titus spoke, he mentioned 4 major challenges: genuine integration, which I would want to term assimilation as it is at the moment. That is a problem. So he spoke about it being a two-way thing. That is what integration should be. But what you're actually doing now is just assimilation. He mentioned access to health care delivery. There is health care, but actually having access to it, equitable access to it, has been challenges. Economic empowerment. We can speak to tomorrow on that. And of course, he mentioned access to legal representation. In concluding his speech, he mentioned the vacuum in the policy space, which ECCV board member spoke about. Everything that you are doing is vital. As a former joint chair of the board of the Center for Migrant and Refugee Health, and the Mothers Coalition, South Sudanese Mothers Coalition, as well as an African Australian and community leader who understands the implication of disadvantaged outcomes, and who knows how much dedication, sacrifice, and commitment it takes for an organization, a small organization, to actually put something like this together and to continue to be a change maker. Before I progress, I'd like us to please applaud the efforts of my ambassador for outstanding work. Thank you so much for all you're doing. If you've worked in the community space before, you have teams, you can as well understand the FT shoulders he's got and the load that he has to lift. I saw him come into this venue today trying to get things set. I wish we have more people like him actually to carry the load. He has bent his knees, he's lifting the load. He has demonstrated that he wants the load to be lifted. Please join him in lifting that load. In my experience as a volunteer on several community-related teams, boards, and councils, I can reiterate, evidently, the experiences from grassroots communities relating to psychosocial disadvantages faced by multicultural Australians, especially people from African heritage, and the many brilliant efforts by well-meaning community members and leaders to improve outcomes. We've had a lot of efforts as described by Titus. We've had a lot of efforts from the wider community and from a host of others. It is therefore no news to say that there are barriers. Barriers do exist. I was speaking at an event late last year, and a gentleman stood to challenge the notion of having barriers. He said, if you are well qualified, if you are well prepared, and if you are, he listed a few things that there will be no barriers in your way. I told him it would be very naive to think there are no barriers in a multicultural society like Australia. The fact that you and I succeed, or that we are successful, or we're doing well, does not mean that that is the aggregate experience of migrant Australians. Even non-Africans do experience it, but much more for Africans, for Australians of African heritage. So it is no news that there are barriers. Those invisible ceilings that seem to have become normalized, socialized, or otherwise institutionalized in our society, and those lingering subjective voices, actions, or views by some people, not all, that treat multicultural Australians as guests who have overstayed their welcome. That is why these and many awards and recognition events are very vital in providing that joint platform for highlighting the roles community development and professional value creation play in breaking barriers, despite limiting conditions. Of course, by now you can title what I'm speaking about as breaking barriers, but I want to go beyond breaking barriers to building bridges, and building bridges by way of creating value. In itself, I would like to succinctly suggest and submit to us that breaking barriers should not be the objectives in themselves, because there will be, if the existing barriers are broken, there will be other ones. But building bridges, while doing so, in making those values that we create accessible to all, to everybody, the barriers hitherto notwithstanding. Let's overlook all the barriers and build bridges, because that is the only way it can be sustainable. By doing this, we consummately embrace and demonstrate the three things, the three spheres. I call them love, respect, and esteem, in which recognition do take place. If you recognize somebody in an environment where there is love, there is respect, and there is esteem, it is more likely that that recognition will be reverberating and will resound for long. And we transition ourselves from self-interested me through reflective I, who have, as individuals or as a collective, gradually expanded to go beyond ourselves, beyond just self. although governed by norms, to creating significance for ourselves and for the community at large. On practical notes, theories are very good, but what practically do we need to do to achieve this? On practical notes, we can each and all on a daily basis continue to contribute to the aggregate rebranding for Australians of African heritage, aimed at breaking these existing barriers if we purposefully attend to whatever it is we have on our hands to do. Intentionally but circumspectly, be careful about what you do and how you do them. Function in alignment with our well-defined goals and objectives. Have you defined your goals, and how do you align yourself with your goals? Every day on constant basis, check if what you're doing aligns well with your goals and objectives. When I was the president of the African Association in Ballarat, I said, if you invited me to events or functions, if it does not align with the objectives of the association I lead, apologies in advance, I would not attend. People thought, oh, that would have been arrogant, but I said, no, it wasn't. I had a mandate to lead a group. If what you are inviting me to on the basis of the association does not align, then I apologize in advance, I will not be able to attend. And that was what we did. At the end of the day, people came to respect the association for what we did. And having done that, you work firmly but fairly within the existing system, even while we seek improvements. The system is what we've got. We don't have any other one. We live in Australia. So let us work within that system, and then we seek improvements from within the system. And more importantly, we must collaboratively negotiate common goals. We had some ideas at our table, chatting about how we might be able to work together. But I will not bore us with that. As I conclude, I would like to emphasize that to build sustainable bridges, not just for now, but for the future, we must learn to recognize and respect other people's goals. Those goals may not align with what I want to do, may not align with what you want to do, may not align with your own goals. But the fact that they don't align do not invalidate those goals. They have reasons for their goals. But what we need to do, however, we should seek to find common ground and preserve the associated relationships. That is what Africans and African leaders need to do more of. The fact that your goals do not align with mine does not mean that we cannot work together. We have a relationship. We find a way of working together for as long as we are working to the betterment of our children and, of course, ourselves. This, as eloquently put by James Reinhardt, that although our background and circumstances may have influenced who we are responsible for who we become. So what you and I do from here on, what we have done, determines where we go from here and the future that our children will have. This is very crucial for building lasting bridges for ourselves and for many generations to come. Once again, I want to thank all of you for listening and for attending today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Michael. I will invite your member to come and begin the presentation of the awards. Abiola. Thank you again.
So what are we doing?
Who's that?
I will stand beside.
Who's that? Jamadukun?
start now.
Okay. We are going to present the awards. I was told to call the names. So the first award goes to Dr. Michael Akindewi. Huh? Oh, is she here? No, it's my body to give you. It's my body, yeah, I'll give you. I'll keep this one here for now. I'll keep this one. With this.
Research Action Center.
Okay. Put this one here and then give the awards. Okay, I think I've realized what needs to be done now. The second award goes to Dr. Titus of the Research Action Center. The next award goes to the Sud Foundation, to Ambrose Mareng. The next award goes to Holly Kiaga, Junubi Windham. The next award goes to Luo Global Life, Gabriel Ochala. The next award goes to Community Support Groups, Arcangelo Nyol Madut. The next award goes to South Sudanese Mothers Coalition in Victoria, Monica Majuk. Thank you very much, Monica. The next award goes to Community Abundance, Deng Ko. So some of the rest are certificates. The Social Justice Award certificate goes to Abuk Deng Ajin. Abuk. Is she here? Oh, there we go. The next certificate goes to Henry Makwe. And the next certificate goes to Ager Atiang. The last one here? Okay, quick. The next certificate in recognition of outstanding contribution goes to Santino Lualwal. Thank you, Santino. The next certificate goes to Rebecca Makongo. I'm waiting for certificates to be delivered to me, so. You need to get an assistant. Next certificate goes to Angelina Guakdal. Next certificate goes to Rebecca Martin Arop. Next certificate goes to Deng Lual. It's not here. Okay, Deng is not here. The next certificate goes to Achol Kir. Okay. The next certificate goes to Cecilia.
some of them are not come.
There's one certificate coming, and then apologies for the rest that have not come. I think Margaret wants to say something.
Thank you, David. I think David has a certificate, but he cannot present it by himself. So, so the next certificate goes to David Wani, with his organization, a pure charitable organization.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Michael and Abiola, for helping in giving out the certificates and for those well-deserved recipients for this great occasion that's been organized by the Center for Migrant and Refugee Health. Unfortunately, some people did not come. Their certificates are here. We'll make sure that those ones reach to them. I've been advised that on behalf of the South Sudanese Mothers Coalition, Rebecca Matong is coming to give a quick speech before we conclude. Rebecca, you're welcome. Where's Rebecca?
And a good routine, but Jal well could be cock ping. Hallelujah. San Ranaban, a ben, and San Benanka ben ping taban. Chijar Yaltong will rur and a duke I warto, Chagubri, you will open. San back thing did ben warto. Fogaki got quote. Thì anh là lính phi anh là chụp phô mi ở đây thì ác hal tai anh ten của anh là bưng nhali đua cái lệ rồi.
She's very happy today to be here with you as one of the Mothers Coalition member and to give you a bit of presentation.
Của anh là chụp phô về mi đã khá là ready thì chan qua team về 2024 anh chụp phô là humor ready thằng work rồi của July đi học cái chụp anh này.
She's also happy that you know we reached one of us in 2024 and to see all of you here again.
Again, cái ban là thì cái đàn kêu rút gam work rồi thì tối tên cái đàn này cho cái thiếu lôi của mình nó mít của chỗ là quay đi đến bên của chỗ là đi ở của rồi anh ấy chụp là humor đấy cái chăn của team luôn chắc lôi chơi luôn một cái sara luôn muốn đong ý nhạc thì một khối chỗ cái tên ở cái khai trên Australia tên ôn nong qua chỗ coin lakini must bố nhìn tapi tong mít quá của chỗ là
She's also very happy that seeing great commitment as members of the community, committed to do the work with the youth and community members. It's a great pleasure for her to see many members and leaders doing work for our community and to bring us together as what we are doing today.
Kaya na chupum ya da ready ya zaman na kaya kare chup waga kilong waga chiluy na ready kwen longur pingnom chan bu ko ja nyina ti na rut bu ko nyina ti ni mit kwa is smart ready mit kwa is smart ready gudu man ne ko ke lor ku ki ke ga chi ria ga ki ria e confuse ne ki ga confuse ne lang da wo lang ku long thio ke kyo ke be.
She's happy also that since the inception of this award ceremony, she has been following up all those activities that we'll be doing as community members and the work that we'll be doing as a collective to ensure that we support what we do and support the children that we have within the community. In their
na kinta di balla tina leje na baduwe ko ko ba kang thon we nyale ne bino ko tan ka kin achan bino ko long choga di redi ko be 2024 inshallah bakri ben abrar warne rin ka bindi achan we ko ga lu ko ka man ko ga lu ka we na non ki yo gur randi ke randi da budi la khoi be nan ki di lu we na ki pom ya da redi ko we ga cha ka mo ne rin ka nyale ko we londo na bala tuan na rin ka kreso.
I won't go further. I just want to acknowledge your presence and thank you for the work well done, and to do some prayers to you as community members as we progress ahead with this work.
Ayan ang buko jitan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, our mother from the Mothers and Coalition. We are going to conclude our formalities by calling by calling Mr. Nyol to come and give a small speech, 2 minutes, and then after that, Mr. Henry McQuay, you come and conclude. Nyol, you're welcome.
Thank you, David and Mabor. I don't really have much to say. I came not prepared to say anything, but to join in this beautiful day in terms of Social Justice Awards organized by the Center for Migrant and Refugee Health. I think, first of all, it's to acknowledge the leadership of Mabor Majur, who is a personal friend and a person that we've come a long way along with many others, his team, his colleagues that are working along with him for organizing. This, I think, is the second time. Last year was an incredible event. I did not get a chance to attend because the event was held while I was in the country, in Shepparton then, because we were supporting a flood recovery project in Shepparton. So I could not attend last year. So I made sure that I'm part of this evening or part of this afternoon today. So Mabor and your team, this is an amazing event. I know the numbers are not as great as last year. People are definitely busy, but I know those few that are here definitely will carry the message. Spaces like this and initiatives like this, I think should be supported. We should all support them, whoever you are, whether you're a community leader, service, an individual in the community, that want an African community to have a voice, to have a space, to have a seat on the table in this state and in this country. It's important that we support one another. Our community is facing a lot of challenges, as we all know. I oversee or manage, for some of you that don't know, the Community Support Group Program, which is a Victorian state government project introduced in 2018. There are 3 CSGs. The Wyndham one is managed by my colleague, Polly Kiaga, and I oversee the Melton Brimbank and Dandenong KC Kadinia. And through this project, which has been the most significant investment by the Victorian state government in our community, South Sudanese community in particular, but by extension, the African community. By the way, we don't only support the South Sudanese community members. We support all migrants from African background. Whoever that walks through the doors of the CSG as other Africans, they get looked after. And we're currently looking after most recent arrival, like the Congolese that are nearly arrived in Australia. So just for your information, so that people know that we're here to support our entire vulnerable African community. And it's important to work hand in hand, not as, not in silos, as small communities working in pieces. When we work together, and I was happy seeing those of Sister Akinyi, our brother there. This is very good. This is the spirit that we want to see as an African community. Let's work together. Let's support one another. Let's share ideas. And I'm sure we can continue to have a seat at the table in terms of Victoria and in terms of Australia. As you know, in this country, if you don't organize yourself as a community, sit together, organize yourself, have a structure, have a voice, okay? Nobody will bother listen to you. You'll always miss out. Your people will always miss out, okay? There are a lot of opportunities in terms of multicultural Australia and multicultural Victoria. So I simply want to encourage all of us, and Mabor, well done. For some of you that we've not met or we don't know each other, or if you've not visited one of our CSG offices, please feel free. Come over, talk to us. If you're a community group, if there's anything that we can support, we can support. If you're an individual that needs support, like the way it is with all our mothers, our vulnerable young people that we support on a daily basis, we would want to support in any way we can. But most importantly, let's collaborate, let's pull our hands together, let's support one another, okay? Let's share ideas in terms of advices. If there's something that you think we can do, we can implement. If there's something you think we can improve, talk to us. Don't hold back. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nyon. I was going to call Henry to conclude, but I've been told that someone very important wanted to give us a speech. 1 minute. Dank, you're welcome.
Thanks. My apology for being late. I guess Deer Park or Melton or Sunshine, compared for those who are coming from Dandenong, is very, very far. So my navigator was close, and I drove all the way near Geelong, and I discovered the navigator looked like it's not moving anywhere. So I tried to destruct it again, but I'm here. Thank you, David, and thank you for Mobors, and thank you for Archangelos and Dr. Michael. My name is Deng Bunkur. I'm based in Dandenong. I'm charged on a small organization called Community Abundance. We are a non-profit organization. We are in sector almost for more than 9 years. So I think next year, 2024, or this year, we're going to be 10 years. So we are there basing support a couple of small social issues. Professionally, I'm a social worker, being a family violence practitioner almost for more than 8 years in the mainstream. And finally, I choose to go to the grassroots to support my community members since 2016. However, we are there supporting a lot of young African people coming out from the prisons. We give them accommodation, other major concerns, although we are running it without any single support from anyone, but we feel it's a part of our social responsibility. Because I believe together we can move better. And I believe a lot of politicians, or a lot of community leaders, or a lot of activism, they think the division within African community can be used as an excuse to escape from responsibility. But it should not be. The European Union was not together because the British left the Union, but it's still called European Union. So we should be there toward one another and try to stand strongly, because we are a voter of this country, and we are a taxpayer of this country, and we are a citizen of this country. So we just left out clearly the way of social services running. Because sometimes if you see or you reflect toward the bureaucrats, the way they do things, sometimes I don't agree with it. And that is one of the reasons I believe wherever you are there by yourself, you keep doing what is right. Don't mind. The people will think you are not there, but keep doing it. Most of my time when I'm sitting in my office, some people, they come, oh, dang, can you come and work for us? Sometimes I think it's offensive. I've been there for 8 years, and you want me to give up all what I'm doing and go and join you. I feel is a very, very disrespectful communication. But it's up to those people. I have a clear message, and I had a simple example. I will let John Garang, historically, a people who coming from north. There is a word in Arabic called abid. The people believe John Garang is one of the darkest skin, like I myself, very, very dark, and purely Denkawi, from mother side and that side, and purely ex-hard African true leader. He believed in humanity, regardless of what kind of culture we have, or what kind of education we have, or what kind of religion we have. As a human, we should be there together. So if somebody telling him enter abid in Arabic, he will laugh at you, and he will think you are sick. You should be in the mental health hospital, because there is no anyone who should be a servant, anyone who should be the master. And this is where sometimes I'm proud for big two tribes in South Sudan. You have Denka Nuer. Their culture, they don't believe for master, and they don't believe for servant. We believe as a human, we are equal. We're born equal, and we die equal. And nobody one should be a slave for anyone. And that's what the message everybody should carry out. As a human, let us be together and support one another. And I believe there is a time where everybody will be heard, and loudly and clearly. My last advice for the young people who are still left out somewhere in any corner, you are not alone. There are a lot of sympathizers who are always there for you. Last 2 weeks, I have somebody come from all the way in South America, Cote d'Ivoire, somewhere there, one of the countries in South America. He was with us 4 years back on voluntary basis. He was doing a degree in one of the universities. And the time was hard on him during lockdowns. The university made it clear for him he cannot graduate until he finished the course. And the lockdown is there, he can't move, he can't do anything. So he tried to approach me by email and tell me, dang, I need to do my work placement so at least I could finish my course, because if I didn't finish it, they were not going to extend my visa. And if my visa is not extended, there is a big chance for me to be deported. And I left only with work placement, everything is okay. I tell him, look, if you are honest and you mean what you are doing, I'll be there for you. We sign a contract, service agreement, they send to the university, be approve it, he do the work placement from home. We send him all the paper that he should be done, and we did a supervision, he finished. Now he become one of the big boss in DHS. So last week he came and said thanks. And I say, you should thank the society around you. And we are the South Sudanese community. What I like from us mostly and ever, we are an open society. We are a very, very open society. We are there always to welcome anyone. And I believe the mainstream one day they will understand that. And thank you so much. And may God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dan, for your advice and the experience.
Yeah, I guess I'm very sorry and my apology. There are the two people I should give them a special thanks. Thanks one will go to Hussein, the first and who were covering all the video recording and photographing, and another thanks for people who prepare the food. Thank you so much for making all these things ready. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Hussein. I'll do it again so that you have it recorded. I was going to call Henry McQueen to conclude the formalities, but I've been told that one of our important ladies wanted to say something very, very important. She's the chairman of the Sudanese Mothers Coalition. Monica, you're welcome.
Good afternoon to everyone. I was not going to to talk a lot, but the reason I came here, I'm really very happy to see all the leaders of South Sudanese and our brother from African who are here. I'm really very happy because this gathering is really very important to us. I'm just coming to give thanks to all of you who attended here today, our brothers and our mothers or sisters who are come to attend this beautiful gathering. And also, I would like to thank Major, the CEO for Migrant and Refugee Center. For us, as a South Sudanese, my word is going to go to South Sudanese straight away because I don't want to talk much because I can see everything has been highlighted and all the word I went, whatever I heard is really nice. But why I'm saying my word is going through to South Sudanese because all the leaders are here. I was not going to talk before because I don't want to talk today, but I think I want to pass my message to our leaders, South Sudanese leaders, and all young people who are here. My message is this. We are really, as a mothers, we're being vulnerable from our men here because coming here to Australia, when we're coming to Australia, nobody knows that you will come and meet another person here. You just leave from South Sudan, wherever you live came from anywhere you live in, came to migrate in this country. You were coming for your own purpose. But when we came and meet each other as a community, as a South Sudanese in this country, everybody is happy to help each another. But we have very vulnerable people who come to this country. When I come to this country, I came with 6 children, and I have no one to help me. I don't know who is my relative, who is my brother, who is who, but I just came. At the end, when I find my community, I was happy. I find the community that I belong to as a daughter of Rumbek, and I get my community that I was being married to, as Toin community, which is fine. I was happy, and I find South Sudanese who are here. Whatever we're doing back years, we come together. There is no something that called we are Nuer or South Sudanese. It was all African or all South Sudanese who come together. If there's something that need to be done in West, we all come to West. If there's something need to be done in East, we all go to East. The life was easy and the life was purpose to us. So back to these years now, we're having a lot of issues. And those issues, there is nowhere we can going to fix them. I know any community have its own problem, but the problem will come at the end. Why? Because you guys know you have vulnerable people in the community. Those people who cannot help themselves, those people who cannot go to say for the help, and they are within the community. Who can help them? It is leaders like you who can help them. But if we don't have any help, we don't have any leader can know who is in this community, who is vulnerable person there, who is need help in this community. And we are just saying there, we need to show ourselves, saying we are leaders, and we are not doing anything. Our community, South Sudanese, need help. If you men don't see that, people are suffering. We are dying with our children. Women are really suffering mentally, emotionally, and so on to our community. You find a mother inside with his kid. The women who came to this country without men, he's suffering inside with his kid. and nobody's seeing that. Everyone is going, you guys are seeing us, we are going as happy people, we are dancing, we are doing so and so. There's nothing, there's no good life there. Because at the moment, our children are dying, the children that we bring them to this country. We bring them for the better life, but we're not seeing them right now. Every month, every week, our child is dying. We're going to mourn in that place, and tomorrow we're moving to that place. Tomorrow we're moving that place. Do you guys think this thing is normal? For me, it's not normal. It's mental for the mothers. Those who are sitting 7 hours, 8 hours, you're just mourning, crying for your child. Tomorrow you're going to your sister, you're going to cry with your sister again. It's a mental problem or mental illness for us because we're not safe and we're not helping each other. For me, if there's any political issues that are going around in our community, can we just solve it from this year, 2014? Let us just open a new chapter and let us come as a brother and sister. As my sister Viola said before, he said the charity begin at home. If the charity begin at home, why don't we start it as a South Sudanese in our community, come together and do the better for our children? We are saying sometimes we're helping our children, but for me, even I work day and night, I never see the help for our children. Because these kids, they need real help. Our children, they need a big center. To come and sit in the center, to play there, do the help that we needed to do for them. Our children need a center that they can play anything, they can do anything, and we are there to support them. What they want to do, to ferment it for them. But right now, we don't have those things. Our children are sleeping in a shopping centers. South Sudanese children sleeping in a shopping center. I go to the places, and the places I go, that are the places, my child, Monica, cannot be sleeping there. And I'm sleeping inside. Who we brought in this country? Are we coming to this country by ourselves, or are we bringing our children? If we're bringing our children, South Sudanese, we need to wake up. We need to wake up. And I'm tired for crying every day. I don't go to Bika. All these morning people or wherever, I'm fed up because there is no point I can go today, we're going to burial and bury the child, and tomorrow we're going again, we bury the child. What is the point there for me? What is the point we're going there? Everything has solution. We need a solution. And if we need a solution, the peace that we've been saying in our mouths, let us just stop it and let us just come to the conclusion. Let us do the peace, real peace, and let us do the real job. Let the world see, or let the other communities see the job that we were doing. Let communities see the work we're doing for all these organizations that we create. Let us just see the reality job, the help that the other people need. We came here without any language. There's other people who came without language in this country, knowing no ABCD. When I came to this country, I don't have any English. When the war broke out in the South Sudan, I was just in primary 4. The good thing I was in English, I was in a Comboni school. That's my school. When I came here, I came with 6 children. I don't have any time to go to school until today. The work I've been doing, going to PCA, I've been doing this job because I just do the course. I didn't go to university. But we need to know we have people who are suffering in this country. That's my message, and I would like to stop here. And thank you, South Sudanese. I'm glad to see all of you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama Monica. I think that shows that we, the South Sudanese community, especially our mothers, we need to give them a platform so that they can be able to express themselves, they express the issues that is affecting the community. We are going to conclude our formalities. When we conclude, I've been told by our good photographer that we go there for group photo. So Mr. Henry come and do us the conclusion quickly before we do the photos. And after that, as you can see on my left-hand side, there's enough food for us to share. And the other social part will continue. Thanks.
Just the people who got the certificate, all of you just stand.
It's not
All right. Mabor Majur, the founder and executive director and chief executive officer, leaders of respective organizations, members of the board of directors, distinguished guests, honorees, and advocates for a brighter future, good afternoon. As a member of the board of directors for Center for Migrant and Refugee Health and South Sudanese Mothers Coalition, I believe that Social Justice Awards play a vital role in acknowledging and celebrating individuals and organizations that have significantly contributed to building a more just and egalitarian society. These awards raises awareness about social issues, encourage others to take action, and promote culture for inclusiveness. By recognizing impactful initiatives, I believe these social justice awards can advance a collective effort towards positive social change in our migrant and wider communities. Ladies and gentlemen, today we come together to recognize exceptional leadership and innovation that cross boundaries and change lives. The Social Justice Award also acknowledges those who have made an overwhelming commitment to shaping education, human rights, equality, and environmental justice, as well as community development. May their achievements inspire us to create a society where everyone thrives, and our migrant communities in particular to flourish. This gathering did not come without education. I would say, in the realm of education, we hold in high esteem those who have managed to convert classroom into a center of learning and changing lives, inspiring students and other learners to envision a community brimming with endless opportunities. Their unwavering dedication to education is a testimony to the belief that learning is the bedrock for progress. Throughout history, there have been individuals who have boldly advocated for human rights and equality. They have fearlessly stood up for the rights of the marginalized, breaking down barriers and creating a path towards a more inclusive and just society, which we are today. Their tireless efforts serve as a reminder that fight for equality is an ongoing journey, and their unwavering determination inspires us all to work towards a more just and fairer communities within Australia and in the world. We also talk about a community development, where leaders have directly or indirectly transformed neighborhoods into vibrant and thriving spaces. The initiative have not only revitalized communities, but also fostered a sense of unity and belonging that is indispensable for social progress. As we come to the end of this celebration, let us carry forward the light that has been ignited by those exceptional individuals and leaders. May their stories serve as lights, illuminating our path towards a community where education is accessible to everyone, human rights are non-negotiable, equality is inherent, environmental justice is essential, and communities thrive in that unity. To our honorees, including myself today, we extend our sincere gratitude for leading the change and shaping more just, compassionate communities. Our legacy, or your legacy, will endure and echo in the hearts of those who are inspired to follow in your footsteps. Together, let us continue to champion the cause of social justice, ensuring that the flame we ignite burns brightly in the chapters yet to be written. Once again, congratulations to the trailblazers and advocates honored with the Social Justice Awards. May their impact continue to resonate and inspire generations to come. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This is the last of our formalities. You can now move around, greet each other, or go and for the photos, for the group photos. Thank you very much. This is the end of the formalities.
Group picture, yeah.